Couldn't we just drive in a straight line?
No, there are too many turns.
Those fiends, they thought of everything.
Now, to preface this impression/review, to let you guys know, I am not a huge SpongeBob SquarePants fan. I've actually never watched a full episode of the TV show, nor have I played any of the video games. So, take that for what it's worth. Ironic enough, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom released on my birthday. And after seeing some critic reviews over the game, I was really curious about it. Again, as my intro stated, I've never really watched the show, and I found more or less the TV show a little on the cringe side for me, just not my cup of tea. But this game was originally released on the consoles and Game Boy and a couple other situations back in 2003. And seeing the game get almost 2s on some critics really had my head scratching. Could the game be that bad? Well, after playing it, I have to officially say that I had a blast. I would never have guessed it. I had just a great time playing it. Now, as SpongeBob SquarePants goes, the story revolves around Plankton creating an army of robots trying to get the secret Krabby Patty recipe. When these robots end up taking over Bikini Bottom itself, and it's up to SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy to save the day. Now, if you played any games like Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, or maybe just a slight dash of Crash Bandicoot, this game feels very much like one of those. And if you enjoy those games, it'll fit in your wheelhouse. Starting off graphics, I honestly couldn't tell this was a remastered game at all. I felt like this game looked great. Between the color palette and how the worlds and levels are designed, it all looked and felt really good. Overall, it just really surprised me. I expected to come in here and see kind of off colors or just things not look as crisp as they could. And I have to be honest, this is a gorgeous game. And if you would have told me it was a remaster, I would not have believed you at all. When it comes to controls and handling, I'm playing this on the Xbox One X, I've had very few issues. Maybe misjumped here or there, but for the most part, the controls feel very tight and very tuned to be a platformer for today's standards. Now, as these kind of games go, you're going to be picking up a lot of collectibles and going through these levels to unlock the additional next levels. In here, instead of stars like in Mario, you are collecting golden spatulas. And you'll need so many of those to go to your next area and unlock it to go to the next one and to the next one and the next one. And again, they keep the progression going very well. You'll also be collecting little gems, they call it, but I call them splats. They're just different colors of little splat icons that you're just going to pick up, collect as money, and that money will be used towards unlocking certain paths or different areas inside the levels on top of the golden spatulas you're collecting. Also, Patrick has lost his socks, so you'll be collecting those, and you can turn those in for spatulas. They give you a lot of different methods on collecting these to keep the progression going at a good pace for the most part. Now, when it comes to voice acting, I believe they got most of the voice actors original for this, and it shows. Everything sounds really good.
Never fear, Mrs. Puff. I'll get those steering wheels back.
SpongeBob, if you're involved, I always fear. But I tell you what, if you can pull this off, I'll give you a golden spatula.
How about a driver's license instead?
Nice try.
Everybody sounds really good. Maybe a line here or there that falls a little flat or feels a little bit of a script, but it feels very good to me, especially somebody that doesn't care for SpongeBob. It was good to see these lines fall well. Now, there are times that the dialogue does get a little cringy for my personal tastes, but if you're used to that, then that's fine. But it wasn't enough for me to damage what I had played or made me want to stop playing. Now, the game itself is about 6 to 7 hours long, maybe up to 8 depending on how you play. And I feel like the progression, again, is very steady. One thing that I love about this game is you can actually bring up your map and look at each area. If you've discovered a spatula, the game will actually allow you to teleport directly to that location and work on that specific spatula, no matter where you're at. I loved this. There were times that I'm like, all right, I need 1 or 2 spatulas to get to the next area. I'd bring up the map, go, let's try to go get that one. Click it, boom, it takes me there. It's like Super Mario 64 where it gave you kind of a clue to what you're going to be doing, but it also includes a picture. So you know where you're going, and again, it teleports you right in the area of it. This made progression so smooth, and I loved it. Another thing that was enjoyable was being able to switch between these characters, depending on their movesets and what you needed to progress with. SpongeBob had a lot of up attacks, down attacks, bubble bowling, and a bubble missile, where Patrick could pick up heavy objects and do a shock attack if he hit the ground. And then Sandy had her lasso and karate chopping, and it was just fun. It was quirky, and it just made me smile. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about being too far away to switch characters. There's usually a bus stop nearby, so if you find a specific quest or an item that you need somebody with, they are pretty well scattered throughout the map to switch very quickly. Now, with all that good being said, I did run into a few issues that I would like to talk about. One of the bigger ones is basically the boundary lines inside a game. There are areas and times that I would be trying to cross over, and I felt like I was going the right direction, but I was instantly pulled out and reset, which I do appreciate that the reset and checkpoint system is fairly forgiving, but it made me feel like I was going the right directions, but I wasn't. Or there's a platform that I feel like I should have been able to jump to, but I couldn't. And I guess that's maybe just an older game and just how things are rendered now, that you could see further or get to areas maybe you couldn't before. I don't know. But after 1 or 2 times of trying it, I realized, I was like, all right, it can't go this way. Got to try another way. Also, when it came to dialogue, there were times that it auto-progressed itself, and sometimes it didn't. You could have a character keep talking, and all of a sudden, the subtitles would not continue. You had to press the A button, but then there were other times that it would progress itself without you interfering by pressing any buttons. And so that was a little off sometimes. Sometimes the characters, they would just keep talking, and the same dialogue was down below. I don't know if it's supposed to match up or if I'm supposed to control it, but it needs to be one or the other. So some sort of progression can be set on that because it was very confusing. There were 1 or 2 puzzles that were kind of hard, or made me have to think about things, or maybe I misunderstood them. But that tends to happen in these kind of action platforming puzzle games. It's nothing that's inherently bad, but it's something to know. If you get frustrated at these kind of games, you'll have a couple of those happen. But overall, the boss fights and the encounters throughout the levels were pretty straightforward. And again, you just progress through the level and you just do what you got to do and you'll get through it. Now, the game has released on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and it's $30. From my personal opinion, if you like adventure games, pick it up. Again, this is coming from a non-SpongeBob fan. I loved the game. It was so fun. The graphics popped so good with the colors. The dialogue fit so well with the universe. And overall, it was just a fun adventure game. I am a big fan of Banjo-Kazooie, so anytime I get to play a game like that, or Yooka-Laylee, I'm always taken back to being a kid and growing up. And this game hit those spots to a T. So that's my review / first impressions over SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. If you'd like to see some gameplay footage, click the link to your left. That'll take you to a running and no commentary playlist where you can check it out for yourself. And if you like what you see and you want to see some more, click the link to your right. That'll take you to the channel itself where we have tons of videos going on over there. And until next time, you guys, stay frosty.